Warning. The following podcast is not for the weak of heart, but maybe the weak of mind. This is Crudimentary Questions with your hosts, Sandy and Jill.
Hey, Sandy.
Hey, Jill.
All right, I got one.
You got... I'm going to say question, not because I immediately thought that you had a fart.
I have that too.
Okay, plenty.
No, I do have a question for you.
Okay.
And it is, okay, if you had to choose A or B, this is a multiple choice question.
Okay.
We never do these.
Okay, oh yeah, that's fun.
A or B, Sandy.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather be the leader of a cult or the follower in a cult?
A leader.
You would be a leader.
I would be a leader.
Okay, and why?
I'd be really good at it. I would also be a very good follower, but that is, that's also why I'd like to be a leader, is because I know how I would behave as a follower, so I think I could intuit how best to keep my followers in line.
Ooh.
And there is this, this idea of basically walking through, I'm not going to say I've had this fantasy, but, you know, I have, of, like, walking through, like, a group of people and them, like, staring at me and being like, oh, it's her.
Like you're a messiah.
Yeah,
kind
like
of a
I'm
deal.
the messiah or the leader.
You'd probably be wearing white pajamas. I don't know why that's a thing.
It is. There's
white pajamas.
The white pajamas seem very appropriate. It's it's the fashion choice of cults.
Most cults
are
include,
into the white pajamas.
Like they issue them out.
Uh-huh.
Well, you'd like to join this cult? Well, here's your
white pajamas.
White pajamas.
Well, but they're not like sweaty pants, you know? They're
moisture wicking, dry fit Nike brand.
They're
white pajamas. No.
No. They're like linen. They're like boat wear.
Yes.
Have you ever watched like this is like the most bougie thing in the world, but like of some sort of show about fashion, and there are certain like fashion brands like Ralph Lauren or whatever has a line that's actually cruise wear. Yeah, it's clothes to wear on a cruise.
Okay.
And it is, you can imagine the people
Hawaiian
that's for.
shirts.
No, it's usually the cult wear. It's usually the white pajamas. It's like
linen
white
pajamas.
and flowy and very breathable.
Well, like I think when I think of Bahamas, I think of those white linen drawstring wide pants. I love those things. I'm like, can I live in these?
We should live in those. Why on earth do we wear jeans?
I mean, okay, so, and I'll go back to my multiple choice, because I'd rather be a because those pajamas look incredibly comfy.
They do look comfy.
And I want to wear them.
But I mean, the leader can probably wear the PJs too.
That's true. I guess maybe.
But they need to wear like a slightly more regal PJs.
Yeah, if I were a leader, I'd probably like adopt some sort of cape.
Yeah.
Like I would involve a cape.
Yeah, I think that's appropriate. A cape or a necklace.
A necklace?
Yeah, I would like to. Oh, this is what I do. I take like a necklace and I have like trinkets on it, like a charm bracelet, like a charm necklace. And then if someone pleased me, I would give them a little charm.
Oh my God. Okay, so if you want to follow Sandy's Cult, just go to sandyscult.com.
Yeah, Sandy's Cult.
And sign up. You will get your pajamas in the mail.
Yeah, we will mail you some PJs. Yeah, I'll walk you through the steps. I would have like 8 steps towards enlightenment or something.
Oh God.
Okay, so
this is like the 12-step program.
Well, no,
towards cult.
No, people have accused the 12-step program of being kind of cultish, but
really,
yeah. But that's just sort of its own conversation. I feel like. However, I think like let's go back to what makes a cult a cult.
Okay, and I actually had to look this up because
Hashtag a little bit of research.
Hashtag the smallest amount.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. I thought that just believing, like following a thing could be considered a cult. But no, it's like abnormal. It's like an abnormal thing, right?
Being in a cult?
Like whatever the cult does or believes in is strange.
I think
or their heinous acts involved, dangerous situations.
So
involved.
I think the thing you're looking for is, it's a couple things. But one is isolation. That's one of the hallmarks. And hashtag did no research. However, I have been kind of surrounded by the idea of cults and cultic activities my entire life. So there's a lot of osmosis knowledge I have. And then I also watched a couple of documentaries about like Jonestown. And
I do know about Jim Jones.
Yeah.
And that's where the phrase
drink the Kool-Aid.
Drink the Kool-Aid came from.
But it wasn't Kool-Aid.
I thought it was.
It was something called Flavor Aid.
Oh.
It was like a knockoff Kool-Aid.
Well, then Kool-Aid became more popular, so...
Yeah, I truly wonder if they have actively... I know at some point they probably did, but had people in like their advertising like PR department being like, can we please get... like how can we like lean into this phrase or fight this phrase?
Okay, commercial pitch.
Yeah.
Here we go. I'm ready. Okay, there are just people in white pajamas at like, an outdoor like presentation place.
Like an amphitheater or something? Or
I'm imagining rows, like pews, benches.
But outside.
Gotcha. And then there's this arch at the front, and they're waiting on their leader to ascend in front of them. And it's just all of a sudden...
It's the Kool-Aid guy?
It's the Kool-Aid man.
Oh,
like,
my God.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And he, like busts through
and then they're just like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That is a great idea. I think they would probably take
Sam's
flack
cult
for
number
it.
two. I think it would be good flack.
Because a lot of people died.
A lot of people died.
Drinking the Flavor Aid in Jonestown.
They probably don't want to advertise the fact that their Kool-Aid might kill you.
Yeah, well, it will definitely rot your teeth.
I think that it's possible that it's a long term, like a long con.
Yeah,
death cult.
Most junk food is to some extent.
Oh my god. Okay, so yeah, I struggle with the idea of like, are some things cults and they don't even know that they're cults? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So there are a few things. My understanding is that like you mentioned the strangeness.
Yeah.
Part of the strangeness comes from isolation.
Okay.
And they are isolated oftentimes because people are starting to, like their families, friends and families are starting to object to their adherence to this system of belief. They're usually very, they require quite a bit of dedication, which is also informed by the isolation. So if they can get you away from like resources and support systems that are not part of their organization, then you have nothing but the organization to lean on. You are less likely to leave it.
Right.
The other thing, the notion of strangeness, is that a lot of times cults are an offshoot of a larger religion.
Yes.
Or a larger belief system. So like Jonestown, for instance, was an offshoot of evangelical Christianity.
Right.
Plus socialism. They were very, very into socialism and Christianity, and it went haywire.
But it's the level of obsession to a certain person or thing that makes it a cult and not a religion.
Well, yeah.
Or, I mean, we're not saying that religion equals cult. It's just cult leaders do all sorts of beliefs, including other religions.
Well, it's where the phrase cult of personality came from.
I mean, it would kind of be like if people still followed Jim Jones even after Jim Jones died, or Charlie Manson.
I think he went by both. I think he was fine with being called Charlie.
Chuck Manson.
Chuck Manson, good old Chuck Manson down at the mechanic shop.
So I mean, he continue his cult even after he was in prison.
Yeah, I mean, but his cult was very limited to, it was like 15 people at one point. So he didn't get new followers. But the women who were in jail continued to follow him. Like he would, like, that's when he like carved a swastika in his forehead, and they did the same thing.
Okay, and I love that we keep saying follow, because it brings me to my next observation, not really a question necessarily, or I could maybe put it anyway. Whenever I follow people on social media, by the way, follow us, Crudimentary Questions, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Whenever I hit the follow button, I'm thinking, am I a sheep? Or like, do I feel very like the word follow upsets me a little bit.
I see. Well, it depends on how much you let them affect you and influence you. You know?
Like, what am I following?
Yeah. Like, for instance, if you were following...
my friends.
Yeah, mostly you follow like friends and artists and bands and stuff like that, right? But there are people who follow. I mean, I've been since I'm a crazy stupid gym rat now. I have been tempted to follow like some fitness accounts. Just with people being, because it's just fun. It's just fun being like, I do that too, you know?
Right.
However, I know some of them can be kind of predatory in that they'll try to sell you stuff like supplements.
Right.
Or
Gotta be careful.
yeah, or they'll like, particularly because I'm a woman, so I'm affected by the image of other women. Like if they have like this impossibly giant butt and this and like a really skinny waist, like no matter what I do, I could do every lunge for the rest of my life and I will not get a big fat butt. Like I have a flat ass. That is what the good Lord gave me.
That's your own personal beautiful anatomy.
Oh yeah,
you have.
I feel like I have come to terms with my flat ass. Half of my life it has been desirable to have a flat ass, and I am now in the we're now in the era of the not flat ass. We're in the era of the fat ass. But anyway, if I looked at those all day every day, I would probably start to feel pretty bad about myself.
Okay, so that makes sense. But okay, going back to the definition of cult. Mm-hmm. Is it just following a thing that makes it a cult, or does that thing have to be dangerous and weird?
I think a cult doesn't have to be dangerous.
It doesn't.
There is a an organization in probably about 50 miles east of us, and I know some people who it's a band that played a show at this. They kind of tout themselves as a spa, but people live there. And
it's a commune.
It is a commune, but they very much have a charismatic leader.
Okay.
And everybody like does what that person says.
Check.
All of these people don't have income outside of the
isolation.
Of the cult. Yeah,
check.
They all live alone in the mountains. And so these
hippie commune.
Yeah, it was very much a hippie commune, but they're like, it's hard to describe, but my friends who were in a band and who played a show there they said it was kind of creepy because they've got all these slogans on the wall of, it's a yoga commune. And so they had a guru. And the way they talked about this guru, like his picture was everywhere. Back in the day in Iraq when you'd see pictures of like Saddam Hussein on every building, it was like that, but with this guru, and his quotes were like written like on across the entire walls, and it was like you could not get out of this, you couldn't get away from the mind of this guru.
Did they have white pajamas?
And I think they had white pajamas
because it'd be really easy to do yoga in those.
Yeah, they all had yoga friendly PJs.
Cool.
So
do you think they knew that they were a cult, or is it a cult?
They would probably be offended by the use of the word cult, and they would probably say, no, we're a commune, or we're a community, or we're an organization, right?
Because cult's a loaded term.
Cult is a very loaded term, and people always think about drinking the Kool-Aid. So it didn't appear that this commune was particularly dangerous. It was just that the people in it didn't have a life outside of it, and we're just very dedicated to this guru. He was really just talking about enlightenment and, lots of yoga stuff, but that doesn't mean it's not a cult. It just means it's not a particularly dangerous one.
So good cult, bad cult?
Probably neutral cult.
Neutral cult?
I mean, this is the major question I always sort of heard, and I think it's reasonable. If you're wondering if you're in a cult, what happens when somebody tries to leave? That is really what counts.
They disappear.
Well, or they're harassed, or they are like certain offshoots of like the Mormon church.
Right, I was thinking about Mormonism.
Yeah, like the super ultra conservative ones that I know the Mormon church like disavows them. They're like, they're not part of us.
Right.
But like if somebody tries to leave, they'll take away their family.
Right. Okay, and then that brings me to Scientology being. They definitely. Okay, wait. Isolation. Check.
Yeah. Well, they're a little different with their yes, they isolate some of their members because there are like boats that young members have to work on. So here's the thing about Scientology is that there are very prominent members, like Tom Cruise and John Travolta. There are celebrities, right?
Right.
And then there are all the underlings who get none of the privileges that the celebrities get. So in one way, they're not isolated because they're all over, Southern California. But like the people who have no money and no prestige are like, they're working in basements and boats and like cleaning up camps and like they're literally waiting hand and foot on Tom Cruise.
Right. Well, and you're right. I don't know much about Scientology, except what they are willing to tell us.
Well, there's a lot of documentaries. There's a lot more information now than there used to be. I think the cat's out of the bag on that. Okay,
but is there one leader that they follow?
Yeah, there's a guy named David Miscavige.
Okay.
And he's kind of a crazy person. It's super
Is he
fun.
the one that came up with it? Or
no.
It
L.
came
Ron
from
Hubbard.
Science fiction writer,
yes,
right?
L. Ron Hubbard, the science fiction writer. Just started writing. He wrote a book called Dianetics, which I've never read.
Oh, right.
But yeah, it was this
before.
self-help thing, like in the 50s and 60s, and just gathered a following. And I mean, and then he died, and I think one of his sons was going to take it over, but then this other guy, David Miscavige, kind of took it over. And he's like violent and very strange, and he's about 5'2". It's adorable. He's like a super small guy.
Isn't that the same height as Tom Cruise?
I know. See that
That's weird.
there's actually like chatter amongst former Scientologists that one of the reasons that they got along so well is that they were both really rich, powerful guys who were very, very short.
Very short. I love, I think it's from Family Guy of Tom Cruise as this tiny little cartoon.
Oh.
He's so small and so smiley and just running around like helping people.
I have nothing personally against Tom Cruise.
Oh, no.
I enjoy Mission Impossible like everybody else,
I don't either. And I don't have a thing against Scientology because I haven't been personally affected by it.
Yeah.
But it does weird me out.
Well, and there are people who have lots of testimony about being negatively affected by Scientology, and they are known for harassing people who try to leave.
Oh, yes. They harassed somehow Katie Holmes and got her and her daughter out.
Yeah,
I don't even know how.
Yeah, it's a whole mess. But there's also something that was considered a cult when I was growing up because I grew up evangelical Christian.
Yes.
Mormonism and Jehovah's Witness were both considered cults.
Interesting.
And their isolation is a more broader form because they are out in the world living their lives, but almost exclusively don't socialize with people who are not part of their churches.
Unless they come to your house.
Yes, unless they knock on your door at 8 a.m. on a Saturday.
This happened like maybe a week ago or 2 weeks ago.
Man.
And me and my husband were in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Just enjoying our coffee and our little breakfast.
Did you hide?
Okay. just wait. So then rap on the door. And you can see through the window. My husband says, "Oh no, it's Jehovah's Witnesses."
Oh, no.
And I go, "I'm doing the laundry room." And I just dove into the laundry room. And he hid behind some wall.
Yeah.
Because if he'd have stepped 1 inch forward, they would have been able to see him
they would have known
through the door window.
Isn't it so funny how we care what they think?
We do.
We're just like, we don't want to be rude, but I don't want to talk to you.
I've only been having to talk to I didn't know. I was young, naive, stupid. I open the door, smiles, and they hand me this pamphlet, and I'm reading it, and I say, "Oh, you're a Jehovah's Witness.
You're one of those guys.
I thought you were a unicorn.
Yeah.
I didn't know you actually existed."
Guys, it happened to me. This person showed up.
And then I became trapped.
Yeah. The last time it happened to me, I was just like, because there were two old people. I just felt so bad.
Aww.
Like, they should not be walking around in, like, the hot sunshine, knocking on people's strangers. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh, guys, you guys should go sit by the pool and, like...
Enjoy your lives.
Yeah, enjoy your life. But I was just like, no, thank you. And they were like,
I mean,
okay.
if they do enjoy doing this, then... And
Yeah.
it's not hurting anyone.
No,
then
it is.
It's fine.
I wanted to sleep. It was a weekend, and I wanted to sleep. And instead, the doorbell at my house didn't work at the time, so they have to pound on the door. It's scary.
The only person I want to ring my doorbell on a Saturday or Sunday is
the Postmates person.
Postmates, Uber Eats, bring me food.
Yeah,
if you don't have food, actually, that might be a good
That
idea
is such
for
a
a
good
Jehovah's
strategy.
Witness. Here's some brownies.
They should just seriously walk around with like bags and bags of like McDonald's breakfast and just knock on people's.
Here's your Egg McMuffin.
Yeah, and be like, here, I'll trade. You get this Egg McMuffin if you let me talk to you for 5 minutes. They will get so many takers.
Can I talk to you about God while you eat?
Yeah. To just be like, fine,
Sure.
whatever. Yeah.
You know what? I was going to say no, but that smells really good.
That's an Egg McMuffin, and I'm going to have it, and I'm not going to join your religion, and, the thing is, it's so weird to me now because I feel like that happens less and less. Like, with the internet being a thing, like, people are aware,
People know what they're getting into.
They kind of, for the most part. So like, there are always going to be I know like some people who would like to invite them in and argue with them.
Yes.
But then there's just a lot of people who already read about Jehovah's Witness or Mormonism on the internet, and they're like, I'm sorry, you can't celebrate your birthday. I like cake, and I'm not joining your church. You know what I mean?
They
Like,
can't celebrate their birthday?
Jehovah's
I didn't know
Witnesses
that.
don't celebrate any holidays. They don't do they don't do birthdays. I don't even know if they do Christmas.
What about anniversaries?
Oh, man, that might be a gray area.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Well, I don't like that.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty
Sign
sad.
me up for not
yeah,
that.
I'm not joining that church.
I want to celebrate Halloween
Yeah.
every day.
Every day is Halloween if you want it bad enough.
But that does remind me, though, and maybe we should see. I don't know if this fits the cult definition.
Sure.
But it reminded me of one time when I was tricked by a person trying to sell me on a pyramid scheme.
Oh, no.
Is that a cult? It's
They
sort of.
can be. They can be very cult-like. I mean, I think the cult doesn't need to have like this very strict definition, I think, but you get a couple things that are hallmarks of it. And most of it is like a dedication that's sort of like beyond what you normally have.
And and like persuasion.
It's
right?
a lot of persuasion.
Obsession, persuasion, isolation. Lots of shuns in this.
Yeah,
people do
lots of
shun.
and then lots
then
of
you get
shunning.
shunned.
Yeah, and then you get shunned. And God forbid you grow up in a cult and then you have to leave everyone you've ever known. I mean, there's a lot of human beings are just so good at trapping each other.
Human beings are good at being awful.
Yeah,
to
like,
each other, to themselves.
Because I think of
to the
like
world.
there are so many like groups of people that like essentially threaten you with banishment if you don't follow their rules exactly. And it's just like, why do we have to behave that way towards each other?
It's a good way to control people.
It is.
Out of fear.
And then,
fear is a good control
but
method.
Who wants to live that way?
Nobody.
It's just, but if you don't know any different,
Right.
and then you've got all the benefits of the community because, I just think I was over the holidays. I ended up in Amish country in Pennsylvania.
Not a cult, by the way.
Yeah, it's hard. That one, it's hard to say. But I mean, you can't leave and be in contact with your family.
Right.
So it's.
I mean, the only difference, I guess, is there's no like leader, I guess. Right.
Yeah, but there's community leaders and pastors, and I mean it's one of those. Yeah, they're all men,
sticky.
all men.
This is sticky.
Yeah, it is sticky. It's hard to really judge it based on like in terms of a cult, but I will say it just they have the benefit of their community, but they're also like, yeah, but if you leave, you're dead to us.
Yeah.
Which is just, to me, that's not love.
They have the Rumspringer.
I know. That's
is that
a
how
whole
you
thing.
say it?
I've heard Rumspringer and Rumspringer.
Rumspringer.
Where they the young ones go and do a bunch of drugs for about
Not
1 to 3
necessarily.
years.
They just go into the real world.
No, actually, I was speaking with some relatives who live in Amish country, and they're like, a lot of times these kids will, because they get the choice to live in what they call the English world, which is just the regular society, or go back to the Amish community. And almost all of them choose to go back to the Amish community. A lot of times They choose to do that because they have people looking for them for like debts about drugs.
Oh.
Yeah. So they basically they got arrested a bunch and ended up in a rehab facility, and they're like, yeah, I'll just go back to the Amish community.
Wow.
It's not an ideal system, I would say. It does seem to yeah, anyway.
I do like Amish things though.
I mean, the Amish food is delicious, and the quilts, man. You can't beat the quilts.
You know, and when the world does die and become the apocalypse, you know, I think I'm going to go to an Amish place because they know how to grow food.
Yes.
Very well.
Yeah.
Without machines.
They would be a good resource in a
post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah. Oh man, they're gonna be kings. That's what they're waiting for this whole time. They're like, we are gonna. Do you just wait?
Hey, so yeah, you can't buy clothes anymore. You have to make them. We know how to make them. You don't. Yeah. Sorry. I mean, I know there's other people besides Amish people that know how to do that.
I know, but they would definitely be valuable.
Anyway, I would like to look up some cult stuff on the internet.
Yeah.
Interneting, right?
Yeah, let's see what Yahoo Answers has to say.
I want to know I want to know so much.
Yeah,
there's actually a lot I don't know.
Yeah, there's just we need more information.
We need more information, and so we'll go to Yahoo Answers in just a moment.
All right,
we'll be back.
Hey, listeners, are your parents proud of you?
Do you want to impress them with your choice of podcast?
If you do, you should definitely introduce them to this podcast.
Crudimentary Questions is your source for parent approval.
Yes, parents, you guys are going to bond. Parents love this podcast, and they love when their kids listen to filthy and explicit things on their phone.
I mean, it is akin to being accepted to an Ivy League school.
It is right up there with that. So, hey, if you want to impress your parents, just send them our way to crudimentaryquestions.com and follow us on all the social medias.
Yeah, now back to the show. We're back.
Yes, we are back.
Okay, so I love this rabbit hole that we're about to dive into.
Man, let's get into that rabbit hole.
Yeah. So the first thing I would like to clear up, though, are the Amish a cult?
Okay, fair enough.
Because I didn't think they were, and that seems to be the consensus here. Speaking as a descendant of the Amish people, this Yahoo Answer user says, they are not a cult, they are a religious sect that is separated by their beliefs. And I think they have things right to some extent, even though there's a lot of inbreeding going on now due to no one wants to move into the Amish communities, and the women are starting to move out to find new people to mate with. They keep things the way they used to be, and the women are actually the way a woman should be.
Oh.
Ugh.
Gross.
And not like the trash that is out here now. Okay. Might need to change my mind.
That commenter just really took a nosedive there.
Okay, I was hanging in.
I was on board.
Okay.
That's like, I just really think that education is the most important thing in the world, and it's very, it's the way of the future, and Black people are dumb. It's like, that's seriously what that was like.
It's
You're
like,
just
God.
Oh no.
Where did that come from?
No.
Why? Okay, so this other person, I think, said it more succinctly and with less misogynism. No, they are not a cult. They help in any kind of disasters. Cults are thinking about themselves only. Amish do not want to be tainted by the world. I agree wholeheartedly with that. The world is very perverse. Hashtag perverse.
Yeah.
Hashtag crude, bitches.
Also, I like tainted by the world.
Taint.
Like, I'll taint your world.
But as Jesus told us, we are in the world, but not of it. Ooh.
I love it when people just use Bible verses and have no idea what they mean.
Yeah, so that's up for debate. Let us know what you think about cults versus not cults.
I totally see why people would be of the opinion that the Amish are not a cult, because they certainly weren't.
It's a religious sect.
It's a religious sect. It's a religious community that just keeps to themselves.
Yeah.
They do. I mean, they have strict rules with harsh punishments if you want to leave. But just in all the other ways that we think about cults, it just doesn't really stack up.
Match, yeah. Well, and that leads me to this Yahoo question. Why do people believe certain religions are a cult? What makes them a cult?
What are the great minds of Yahoo answers say about that?
This expert person, better known as Torgo on Yahoo Answers. I don't know who that is.
Love it.
It is difficult to define a cult. However, some characteristics are pretty good warning signs. All right, we got bullet points. You ready?
We have bullet points.
Yeah.
Oh, this person's taking it seriously.
I know. I love it. Okay. 1, a living leader whose judgment cannot be questioned.
Okay, fair enough. That sounds good.
2, a doctrine that cannot be questioned. 3, secret knowledge that is available to only a few members.
Yeah.
And what you've been saying, 4, isolation from friends and family who are not members of the group. As such, he concludes, Scientologists are an excellent example of a cult.
Yeah.
So we were right with that one.
Yeah, because the whole like Xenu thing with the volcanoes and the space semen, that wasn't common knowledge for years. That was like because you know about that because like South Park did an episode.
Yes, it sounded made up, and in fact it is made up.
Yes, it was made up by a science fiction writer. It's exactly what it sounds like. But they people wouldn't know about that for years, and then they'd get to this really high level where they were allowed to go in.
Oh, that was the secret?
That was the secret knowledge. It became common knowledge once the internet happened and people started leaving the church and saying, guys,
this is what they tell you at the end of the rainbow.
Yeah, at the end of the rainbow. Well, it's most of the way to the end of the rainbow, which is why a lot of people stay, because they read it and they're like, this may be something I just don't understand yet. But by that point, they've sunk hundreds of thousands of dollars into this.
So they're almost like they're vetting them before they tell them.
They get them super, super involved, super invested. And then they use the sunk cost fallacy, which is that they've already invested so much time and money, they may as well stay, even though it's bonkers.
So here's another question from the internet, because, and it's a perfect lead up to what we were just talking about. How do you become a cult leader? All right, take notes, Sandy.
Yeah, I'm into it.
All right. This person says, I'd like to become the leader of a cult and be worshipped as Jesus.
I want to be worshipped a little differently than Jesus, I think, because I want to have sex.
Oh, he didn't have sex?
He did not. He was pure and a virgin.
Oh.
According to, the legend.
Sure. Well,
here's the thing. He never married. So they're like, since he never sinned, that meant he never had sex outside of marriage. Right. It's a lot of...
He never sinned? Come on.
That's what they say. They say he was perfect. That's why he was able to be the sacrifice
he lived to 32. I couldn't imagine... 33. I couldn't imagine not sinning for my entire life.
Yeah, well, and the people who believe that also think that, masturbation is wrong. So they're like, Jesus never whacked it.
Yeah, right.
I remember getting into a fight at a Bible camp that I was a counselor at about whether or not Jesus pooped.
That's not a sin, guys.
It's not a sin.
Guess what?
But there was a counselor there who thought it was just a disrespectful question.
Oh, okay. I could see that.
Well, it was really funny. It was great.
I think it's a stupid question, honestly. Of course he pooped. He was a human being.
Yes. Yeah, I know. And, that's when we were arguing. But he was like, we can't talk about our Lord this way. And, stormed out of the kitchen. It was very funny.
Did Jesus ever get a canker sore? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
He probably got an abscessed tooth.
He wore sandals all the time in the dirt. Okay. This person wants to found a church temple and have bodyguards and a harem and weird rituals. What's the best way to get started, internet? Note, I don't want to join an existing cult and work my way up. I want to found a new cult.
Huh. This guy sounds kind of like he's kind of trash,
Oh my God.
He sounds really lame. He's like, I don't want to go through any motions or anything. I just want to pop. I'm adored. I think what you start with something like these days. This is what I would think you would do. You would start with a social media presence.
Oh yeah. Well, again, follow.
Yeah.
Follow me.
Follow me.
Follow me.
no, but I really want you to follow me, like real, real talk,
Yeah.
real follow.
Well,
yeah. So I would have a social media presence, with some sort of, I don't know, spiritual bent or like a betterment. Like this is for self-improvement, And I think you have to, especially because people are skeptical these days because we just have so much information. So I think they, you gotta really sweeten it, and so you start by building some people who just really like what's gonna happen. And I know that this kind of thing happens with bands too, or just artists. You end up with the fan, like the super fan, or somebody who just really loves what you do. Use that person. Like
they're your cheerleader.
They're not just your cheerleader, they are now your right-hand man.
Oh.
Because they will do anything for you. Get them into a place where they feel incredibly privileged to be in your presence at all. And that could include some really shitty manipulation, some negging. You got to talk to them like, they are really privileged for you to be spending time with them, but then also compliment them and tell them they're growing. Get this person just deeply dedicated to you.
Okay.
It would be useful if they could fall in love with you.
I have an idea, Sandy.
Yeah.
You need to start a school for the cults.
For cults, yeah.
A school for cults.
How do you start a cult?
You will be the cult leader of all the cult leaders.
Of all the cult leaders. Oh my God, they would come to me for advice. We'd have like a conference every year at like a Radisson. Just like a dingy ballroom, and they'd be like, so my members are starting to question my authority. What do I do? And I'm like, you gotta slap them. You just gotta give them a good slapping, like in front of everyone.
Yes, public shaming.
Yes, and it would be
public
I think you
shaming.
Should. Are they in groups of families? Yes. Did you allow them to decide their families? Yes. Okay, so that's your first problem. You can't let them decide their families. So what you got to do is separate them. So make sure they have to live, like the husband or the spouses have to live in separate houses. Definitely don't let them see their children, and have them do manual labor until you deem it is proper for them to return.
I have decided to revoke my idea.
Yeah, you think
I do not want this to happen to anyone.
Yeah, it's terrible, and I won't do it. But I will say I think I'd be good. I think I'd be good at it.
Well, yeah, and we haven't talked about the violent nature of most cults.
Yeah,
we haven't talked about that.
Because
we are not condoning cults in any way, by the way.
Please don't start a cult.
Don't start a cult.
And certainly don't like credit me with your ideas,
Yeah.
because my ideas are very good. Just don't do them, But yeah, like there are so many ways to control people. And fear, like we were saying, like fear is so powerful.
Fear is the most powerful. And I just wish it wasn't so easy to use fear.
But anyway, yeah, so if you want to start a cult, go on social media and get yourself a little bit of a following. But then you have to be very delicate about the next couple things, which is getting people to like live with you. And
you have to be charismatic.
Yeah.
Kind of narcissistic too.
But you also have to convince them that it's just a lot of sweet talking. And you have to believe your own bullshit quite a bit. But just like, I think one of the major notions, if you're going to be the leader, is convincing people that it is a privilege for you to show them any attention at all.
Oh, geez. Well, maybe we could also, if we're going to do this whole school thing, maybe we could also teach them not to be assholes. Is there a way?
No, I would not be able to have like any ethics or morals or empathy, if I was going to do this, because that's honestly, it's just not being an asshole isn't the best way to get people together.
Okay. So
you know what I mean?
You have to be an asshole.
Well, you just have to be manipulative.
Right.
I think if you're going to have the kind of organization that is a cult, if you just want to have like a group that like picks up trash on the freeway or something, yeah. But you're not requiring them to like give all their money to you. So you're automatically like disqualified. Like you have to be so ambitious.
There are no good cults.
I think, well, like I said, I think there are neutral, like the yoga guy, But for the most part, I would say another hallmark of a cult, I liked the bullet points, but one is that they almost always require a lot of money. So you would need to be giving the leader money. And another thing to look out for is just sexual stuff. If they start being like, I have I have like, what is it? I keep saying the word privilege, but I have privileges. I have sexual privileges with the cult members that other people don't.
Yeah, we hadn't talked about the whole sex part of most cults too. Is that it's a driving force behind them? Mm-hmm. Sex and violence, everybody.
Yeah, man.
Sex and violence.
Sex, violence, and money. What up? Let's start a cult.
I don't want to.
Okay. Maybe you can be my follower.
No.
She's like, I just heard you. Describe it. It's awful. All right. Well, we are going to ask a guy what he thinks about all this. You said you had a question for him.
I think I do. We'll see if it goes anywhere.
Okay, cool.
But this will be an interesting one.
Yes, it will.
All right.
We'll be right back.
Okay. Ask a guy. We need a man's opinion, so we'll ask a guy.
Hello.
Hey, Sam.
Hello, Sam.
Welcome to Crudimentary Questions. We have a question to ask you.
Okay. Ask away.
All right. Do you think that you would be a good cult leader?
A good cult leader?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe I could lead a cult.
Okay, good.
Okay. And why do you think you'd be good at cult leading?
I mean, I think I'm pretty good at bullshitting my way through life.
That is a good quality for a cult leading a cult, for sure.
So if there was, if I had an end game in mind, I think I could come up with enough bullshit and elaborate, nonsensical things to lead a nice cult.
Oh, you'd lead a nice cult then.
Well, yeah. We're not doing an evil cult.
Yes, of course. We were trying to debate on whether or not a cult could be nice. So, do you have any ideas for your nice cult? What would your doctrine be?
Yeah, what do you believe?
It'd be about football, right?
It would probably be a barbecuing cult if I had to go with one.
Yes.
Where, we believe in cooking for the masses and feeding many people lots of hearty meals.
This is so
I love this.
wholesome.
Okay, wait, I'm joining. How do I sign up?
Yeah, also I was going to say me too. Do you are you specific about only barbecuing certain proteins or is there a wide array?
Oh no. We can barbecue protein, we can barbecue vegetables. I mean, it's an all-inclusive barbecuing cult.
Oh, that's wonderful. Like you'd barbecue fruit even? You'd be okay with fruit joining?
Yeah, so a barbecue pineapple would be definitely
I was going to say
delicious.
Get a good sear on a pineapple is delectable.
Well, and I had your
ribs.
ribs.
I mean, you can learn more on my blog at barbecuecult.blogspot.com.
Yes, please plug your cult. Well, and I think you would be an excellent cult leader because you're very charismatic. Mm-hmm. You know how to speak to a group. Mm-hmm. That's very important.
Yes, you seem. I would say you seem persuasive in a very kind way. So you're very trustworthy. You come off as very trustworthy.
Yes.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm pure evil on the inside.
Yeah, as you know, I did suspect deep down. We have one. I think there is a caveat, Jill, to this barbecue cult. And it's that we realized early on in our discussion that cults tend to really like the white linen pajama attire.
Oh gosh!
And I don't think that works with the barbecuing. You'll get it all dirty. Yeah, what do you think about that, Sam? How would you edit the white pajamas?
That's not going to fly, is it?
No,
well, there's one of two ways you can go about that, and that would be coveralls for during the barbecue cooking as well as eating.
Nice.
Yes, like
there could be a full nudity aspect during the whole cooking.
That's
eating.
very
This is what you do
cult-like.
in the barbecue cult. You cook, you eat. So nudity would be acceptable.
Wow.
And I don't think people should frown upon getting a little messy on their white smocks or whatever we were calling them, linen.
Yeah, maybe that's a
Cult linen.
Yes.
like a sign of how dedicated you are to the cult.
The more messy your white pajamas are, or your body, or your naked body,
or your naked body.
You could overthrow me if you can get a messier cult white suit.
Ooh, challenge
that
accepted.
is the goal. Yeah.
I will.
But no one will ever out messy my messy white cult outfit.
And another alternative is you, instead of the white pajamas, it's just a big like wet nap.
Yeah.
You know, like to clean. So then you can just clean yourself with your wet nap pajamas.
Oh man, you'd be rubbing all up on your body, and then you start rubbing up on other people's bodies, and then because cults,
I like that.
Cults involve, like a lot of dedication, maybe some isolation, but also some sex. So
yeah,
could this be like the barbecue sex cult with wet nap pajamas?
Oh. I mean, I love that idea. You may be my number 2.
Yes, that's what I want.
Oh, we did talk about number 2s.
Yeah, I'm in the inner circle. Like, there's a whole thing with cults, like, when we were looking it up on the internet, about there being, like, secret knowledge. And that's how they, like, only a select elite few get the secret knowledge, but everybody is trying to get it, So that's why they stay in these cults, even when it's not good for them.
Oh, and what would be your secret knowledge then, Sam? Like how to cook ribs perfectly? Maybe?
Probably is barbecue sauce.
What do you think, Sam?
Yeah, barbecue sauce as well as temperature control is key in this cult.
Okay, and what are those? Can you tell us the secret?
She's trying to trick you, man. This is supposed to be a secret for the elite few.
I can only discuss this with my number 2.
Which is me, so.
Okay.
Which is you.
Okay, I'm not wearing my headphones. Go ahead.
Jill's taking off her headphones. Tell me the secret.
You can learn more at my blog at
Barbecue cult.
Gosh, he is good. He is good. I mean, I couldn't hear that.
Yeah.
Never mind. So now that you've talked about what you want to doctrinate, and it's barbecue and possibly naked eating.
I think there's a lot of maybe some body acceptance here.
Pretty much anybody that wears a small size t-shirt would not probably fit in well with this barbecue cult.
Excuse me. So I'm looking forward to joining this cult of yours, but I do worry that since you are evil on the inside, that there is something not particularly settling about this cult.
Are you being on the up and up here? Because
turns out we're all vegans.
Or maybe you shun all the vegans in the world and you like try to get people to not be vegan.
No, he said it was all inclusive.
No, it's all inclusive.
Oh, so you barbecue vegans too?
Exactly. Exactly. All of that plant-based diet that they have makes for a delicious.
They're very tender flesh.
Yeah. Very, very, very tender.
That could be your dark cult version. As you're not barbecuing food, you're barbecuing people.
So
exactly.
The end of the road is when you find out like how much of the barbecue quote unquote pork you've been serving is actually vegans.
All right through my master plan.
You're trying to get. Go ahead.
I mean, humans have to be delicious, right? I mean, otherwise it wouldn't be so frowned upon. Because we would just all be doing it, and then it would be the end of the race. I mean, they've got to be good.
Yeah, I mean,
I've heard.
Those bodies are just like sitting in the morgue. Like we pump them full of chemicals and then put them in the ground. Why not have a feast?
I think this is a terrible plan.
Not?
I mean, there is truth to sharks don't eat us because we taste bad, so there might be something about that. Maybe we're gaming.
What do sharks know? Sharks get washed up on a beach. They're idiots. Don't listen to the sharks.
Okay. The great follower of the barbecue cannibalistic cult, quote, sharks.
No, don't listen to the sharks. They're idiots.
What do sharks know? What do sharks know?
What do sharks know?
They don't know anything about barbecuing, that's for sure.
Obviously not.
Yeah, okay.
And how delicious human flesh is.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm crying. Yeah. So I'm going to immediately create this website for you, and we're going to get this cult going. Okay, Sam?
So be prepared.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Go
Let's
pick out your wet nap pajamas.
Send the designs to the table. Oh my God.
Fun fact about me.
Yeah.
I don't even really like eating barbecue or chicken wings. I really just like the wet nap at the end of the meal. It really is my favorite part.
It's so satisfying, isn't it?
It's so satisfying.
Like,
You clean your hands right at the table, right?
Yeah, and then you dig under your fingernails. Am I the only one who does that?
Yeah, it's
No.
nice.
I'm a fingernail digger. for
Under
sure.
the good old fashioned fingernail digger.
I will say that I never feel as clean as I do after cleaning myself with a wet nap after eating barbecue.
Yeah.
It's the best feeling
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah, it is wonderful.
Well,
Delicious
ahead.
human barbecue.
It's the delicacy. Oh my God.
oh my God, this has been so entertaining. Thank you, Sam, so much for
Of
joining
course.
us on this topic of cults.
Which just somehow went into eating vegans.
I loved it. It was
Go
delightful.
cannibalism.
Yeah. Cannibalism, good. Also, wet net pajamas, good. It's sharks, bad.
Absolutely.
Sharks are bad.
Sharks,
Idiots.
don't listen to them. Don't
Complete
listen to them.
morons. Yep.
All right. Yeah, we appreciate it so much. I hope we can talk to you again.
Yay!
Yeah, we'll be getting together in a couple of weeks.
Will you
Feel
be
free to do some light exercising before joining.
Uh-oh. We're not vegans. Don't eat us.
Okay, done.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Sam.
Bye.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Hey guys, that is our episode about cults. I know we didn't get to everything, but that is how it goes.
I think we got to the meat of it.
We got. Oh my goodness gracious! So happy. I'm still glowing from
Yes.
that call with Sam.
Thank you so much, Sam, for, oh my gosh, just amazing.
His ideas, just the way his mind works, is a thing to behold. We should join his cult.
I want to.
I'm already number 2, so I feel like
We're on the path there.
I'm gonna stick with it.
And I've had his ribs before.
Ooh.
They are tasty fucking ribs.
Yeah.
They're the tastiest. Like, I wasn't even hungry. And I ate
Well, honestly,
lot of
if
it.
you're not hungry but ribs are put in front of you, I mean,
your choice is made for you.
yeah, for sure.
Anyway, sorry to all the vegans out there.
We don't want to eat you.
We don't want to
just-
eat you.
we
We're not
don't.
condoning cannibalism.
and we're
And your lifestyle is great.
yeah. I have nothing but respect for the vegans. Also, this is just a little aside. I've been eating a lot of Indian food, and a lot of it's vegan, and it's so fucking good.
It's good for you.
And it's filling. Oh my god, I'm so hungry right now. That's the problem. That's why we ended up talking about
I was
eating
wondering.
people.
I was wondering why you were looking at me like I was a chicken wing. Am I turning into? Are you hallucinating, Sandy?
Maybe a little bit.
Okay. Well, we're gonna get some food, some non-human food.
Yeah.
Is that how you say it? Whatever.
Okay, well, thank you for listening to our episode, and I would recommend that you not join a cult.
Don't join a cunt.
Don't join a cult. You can join a cunt if you want, I guess, if the cunt is inviting people.
Freudian slip.
Um,
Don't join a cult. Don't eat people. And
Eat?
don't wear linen pajamas made of wet naps.
you know, that last one I think is questionable. I think we could market that. I think that could be a legit product. So, you know.
Hashtag.
Yeah, hashtag legit
Wet nap pajamas.
Wet nap pajamas.
All right. Thanks for listening.
And we will see you next time.